Hi guys!
Hello!
Megan and Katie here again with another Live with Blitsy.
Lots of fun stuff to share with you today. Megan's been really busy prepping some cool projects for you. This is actually going to be a really cool product that we were first introduced to this past January at a trade show, and we spent a bunch of time at the booth talking to Barbara, who is like the designer behind this. And basically it's the Claritystamp Groovi tool, and it's pretty groovy, right?
Yeah, and according to Barbara, this isn't actually a new thing. Parchment crafting has been around, I guess, for a really long time, but they have decided to kind of take that art form of crafting and make it really accessible and make it really easy for everyone to get into. So they went ahead and they've created this kit to share with everyone so you can actually try your hand at parchment crafting.
Parchment crafting. I feel like everything that was old once becomes new again.
That's right.
So with clothing, with makeup styles, with crafting, everything comes back, and this is one of those. So if you aren't familiar with parchment crafting, which I wasn't.
No, I wasn't either. I when she was showing us this tool, I was blown away, and she goes, well, the concept behind it isn't new, but we've made it accessible and easy. And I'm like, I like where you're going with this.
Yes. So if you have any friends who you think might be interested in this, it's really cool. Share it on your page right now, and get the more people, the merrier. If you have questions, we'll be answering them in the comments, and you'll get to see the full demo. So let's hop into it.
All right. So first, I just want to show you guys what you get with this kit, because it's going to be everything you need to get started. So it comes with the mat here, and one side is soft for your embossing, and the other side is hard. And it has the kind of grid lines there, and it even has the sizes for different cards that you might be needing to make to help align everything and keep things straight, which you know I need. It also comes with the Groovi plate mate, and this is what you're going to use to actually do all of your parchment work. And then you can purchase additional plates, but it comes with this really cool trees, which I've seen people use this seasonally. So they'll, maybe add the leaves for spring, for summer, or they'll just do they'll just do the buds for spring, or they'll do just the actual tree trunk for winter. So you can get kind of 4 seasons for your card making and your crafting just out of this plate alone.
So really quick before you move on, can you do a little sneaky peek of what a finished parchment craft looks like? Because I think I wouldn't have been familiar without knowing. So let's show it, and then we'll show you how we got to this end result. So
this is it, and I did the 3 trees, and if you can see, it's raised. The trunk of my tree is raised, and that's from using an embossing tool and pressing down on my parchment to get that really cool effect. And the white color is not actually me coloring in white. It's actually taking that embossing tool and pressing on my parchment paper, and it turns white, which they call white work. So if you're really good at shading, you can do shading with that. You can add lots of detail, lots of really cool touches to your parchment paper with just this embossing tool. So I obviously added color, which you can do with your colored pencils. You flip over the parchment and you can color the back of it to add some color to that parchment if you don't want it just to be white. But yeah, it's all from the parchment and the tool that you get that really cool kind of embossed, raised look with the Groovi plate. So I'll show you guys how to use this, but before I do, I want to keep going along with what you get in this kit. So you got the trees, which I showed you here. You also get this plate, which pairs really nicely, well, I'll flip this around so you can see better, which pairs really nicely with the trees because it's the sun or the moon. There's a little bit of landscape detail, whether you're going to do mountain ridges or kind of rolling hills. You can pair that with your trees like I've done here. And then it also comes with lowercase font and then an uppercase font here, and then some of your special characters and these little boxes that you can create to put your letters in to form kind of banners or sentiments. So like I said, pretty much everything you need to get started comes with this kit, along with the 2 tools that have different embossing ends, and then it comes with 20 sheets of the parchment paper, so you have plenty here to get started. So everything you need right here in this kit. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually use the Groovi plate, and you're going to notice here that it looks like it's backwards. Do you have a question?
No, I was just looking on the website. We'll link to it, but the Claritystamp Groovi plate starter kit Normally $60. It's on Blitsy.com for $39.35 right now. So everything that Megan just showed for less than $40
To get
which
started.
is really great.
Yeah.
To get you started with everything that you need, and then you can make tons of different projects.
Right,
with
and
it.
it comes, as I mentioned, it comes with the 2 plates, but we have additional plates on our website that you can purchase that all fit into the plate made. So obviously, if you're, you like the trees and you like the kind of mountain landscape, those come with the kit. But if you want some of the other really cool designs, you can purchase those individually, and they fit right here into your plate.
But
made.
then you also have all of
Yep.
these
The
fonts, right?
fonts, the characters, the special boxes. Yep, you have all of that. That is all etched, and this is acrylic that has been etched, really finely etched. And these embossing tools fit right into the groove.
Okay, perfect.
Hence the name Groovi Plate. So you put your tool in there, and it just kind of locks into that groove as you go along. So I'm going to get started. Let me grab a piece of washi tape.
Yeah, while you're doing that, it looks like the people on the chat have not seen this before, but they think it's really cool. So
yay.
you'll actually see it come to life now as Megan does the demo, because I had not seen it either, and we were stuck at this booth. We couldn't stop watching. It's therapeutic too. It's almost like it's like another form of adult coloring where you can just kind of fill in with the parchment. So it's really neat.
And it's it's one of those crafts that it can take a little bit longer than some of your other projects, but with this, as Katie mentioned, it can be therapeutic. It can kind of be calming to sit down and just kind of get in the groove with your Groovi tools. So
there you go.
Get in the groove, people. So I'm just taking my parchment here and I'm just taping it down so it doesn't move on me. You can see it's nice and taped down there. I have it on my mat. And then I'm going to take my embossing tool. I'm going to take the smaller one here. And I'm literally just going to put it into the groove, and hopefully you can see this, and trace around in the groove. And it's nice and locked in there. And I've now just created a design.
Do you just need to do it like one time over, or?
Yeah, so you do it one time, and you want to go somewhat slow, but what you can do is you can lift up your tape and check, and if obviously you've missed some or it's not as dark, you can place it right back over your plate, and you can go back over it again. So I'm literally just tracing in the designs in my plate. And like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of really cool designs that we're also selling. This one is a great starter one, but if you are like, this is amazing, I need more designs, we have a lot of really pretty ones to choose from. So I'm just going to continue going in here. I'm going to go along the tree, keeping my little ball in the groove there. And like I said, this is something that is great to kind of get started in too. It's you mentioned it's therapeutic, it's kind of calming, and you're just literally tracing in this groove so anyone can do it. And it's great for kids too. I know they mentioned at CHA that a lot of kids have been interested in doing this craft as well. So, all right, so I'm not going to do the entire tree. I did some of the leaves, and I'm going to pick this up and kind of show you the effect that we got. I'm going to flip it this way. Do you see that, how that's raised? Hopefully you can see.
Feel that.
Isn't that so cool? And that's just from the pressure of the embossing tool on the parchment. You've got that really cool raised surface. And I mentioned earlier the white work. What you do is you actually flip your mat over, and this side is soft.
Did you say it comes with this mat?
Yep, it comes with the mat, and it's double-sided, so it's one side's hard and one side's soft. So the soft side is what you're going to do to actually work on your white work or coloring in with that embossing tool. So I've kept it face down, and I'm working once again from the back side. So my the pressure that I'm putting on here, the kind of emboss look will be showing on the front. So I'm just going to take that tool and just kind of give it a little rub, and you can see I'm actually creating some white color there just by rubbing the embossing tool over that exposed parchment paper. And I'm just kind of, you can see that. They say to do kind of like little feathered strokes, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're adding shadow, obviously you're going to go in probably with a more detailed tip, which this one has a smaller tip. And then obviously the one that we worked with had a smaller tip there. So depending
we have
on the work.
a couple of questions.
Okay.
Sherry was asking how the parchment paper is sold. You get some with the starter kit.
Yep, you get 20 sheets with the starter kit.
You can also buy it separately. We have a 50-sheet pad of 9x12 parchment tracing paper, and that is for $5.32.
Nice.
So really affordable right now on Blitsy.com. And then the other question that we had was, would this work with vellum or foils? Or is this specifically for parchment?
I think this is specifically for parchment, and you want, obviously, I forget what pound, I forget what the poundage of this, but
I think it's 100.
You want, obviously, a high quality poundage of the parchment, because you don't want it too thin, because obviously you are putting pressure on your paper, and you are, getting into those grooves, so if it's too thin, you could tear it. So, yeah, what is it?
It says 100.
100 pound, yeah. So you want a thicker parchment. The vellum, that's a really good question. Maybe if it's thick enough, it would work, but I know vellum, at least the vellum that I've used, is not as thick as this. So
Okay.
I would err on the side of caution, only because, like I said, when you're using your tool here in those grooves, if you push too hard and it's too thin, you're gonna rip it. So hopefully you can see here, I added a little bit of shading to that tree trunk. I kind of started filling in my tree itself here. So that's all, once again, coming just from my embossing tool here and the parchment. So I just love that I'm not using anything but paper, this tool, and my embosser to get a really cool effect. And as I mentioned earlier, you can use your colored pencils to add some pretty color to your artwork. So I'm just
Really quick.
Yeah.
There's a couple people that just joined. They're
Okay.
like, what is going
What
on?
is going
What are we
on?
watching? We'll do a little quick
Okay.
recap. And then the other thing was, Christy has actually done this with vellum before.
Oh, she
thicker
has?
vellum, and
Okay.
she says that you will get the same
Same
effect.
effect?
As long as you're using like a heavyweight vellum.
Heavyweight vellum. Okay,
So
yeah.
thank you, Christy.
Yeah.
That's why this is awesome that you can do it live.
Perfect.
So really quick recap before we show the colored pencils. What are we doing?
Okay, so we are working with the Claritystamp Groovi plates, and it is kind of your introduction into parchment crafting. So if you've
Starter kit.
Starter kit. So if you've never done parchment crafting, it's basically taking parchment paper, or it sounds like a heavy quality vellum, and you're actually using these Groovi tools or these Groovi plates to create really cool artwork along with your embossing tool. So if you want to pan down here, I'll show you. I've just used this plate, and it is etched. So this plate, it's acrylic, it's etched, and I have these tools here, and I'm actually putting paper on top of that and just running it along the grooves. And when I do that, I get this really cool raised surface. And then when I flip it over and I use my embossing tool on the soft side of the mat, I can actually create white work with my tool. So I can actually color in my design with just using this, the tip of my tool here, and I can create shading, shadowing, or just fill it in all white just by putting pressure on that paper. How cool is that? And it's raised, so you get a really cool raised, almost embossed look from the tool paired with the Groovi kit. So Katie mentioned it is a kit, so we'll go over the kit again. You get the mat here, which is double-sided, a soft side and then a hard side. You get the plate mate here, which comes with two plates that actually fit inside the plate mate. So you get the 3 trees, and then you also get, it's kind of like a little landscape here. We get a couple of moons, looks like the sun, some mountains, maybe some rolling hills here that you can actually pair with your tree to create a cool landscape. It has uppercase font, lowercase font, your special characters, and then these boxes here that you can actually etch in, and you can add your letters to have kind of a banner effect. And then it comes with 2 of the tools here, which you're going to use for embossing, for doing your white work, and for actually tracing in those grooves. And then it comes with 20 sheets of the parchment paper. So everything you see here is what you get in the starter kit. And Katie mentioned it's what, 30?
What did I say?
30,
I can't
it's like,
remember.
it was normally 60-something.
I closed out of it.
Sorry, it's normally 60-something retail, and we're actually selling it for 30.
Here, I'll tell you exactly.
Okay,
One
we're
second.
doing it, yeah. So yeah, it's a really great starter kit. If this is something you want to get started in, it's always daunting to think, okay, what do I have to get? This kit comes with everything you need to get started. And I mentioned earlier that you obviously get the 2 design plates, but there are additional plates that you can purchase that will fit inside of the plate mate.
Yes, that's right. And I pulled it up. The Groovi starter kit is $39.35, which is regularly $60. So a great deal today. And then you can get additional plates for $15 today, which are normally $22.
And I kind of want you to show them some of the other intricate designs that they can get.
Yeah, so if we just scroll really quickly through, you've got some of these ovals and circles.
Really pretty borders.
Then there's like a butterfly with a border there, these longer borders. And again, these additional plates are only $14.95, regularly $22. And then there's that parchment pad that I was saying. You get 50 sheets of 9x12 for $5.32.
Which is awesome.
So that's all on Blitsy.com. We'll put the links right in the comments for you guys. But I'll check and see, are there any other questions? Are you, I see a die over here. Are you doing something with that, or is that?
So no.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I'll get to that in a second. So now that I've done my design, I just want to show you that you can actually use your colored pencils to add a little bit of color to your parchment. And once again, I'm still working from the back side of my design, and I'm just coloring in the paper with my colored pencil just to add a little bit of color to my paper. You can obviously leave this plain, you can leave it white. I certainly think it's gorgeous like if you leave it alone, just because that white really pops against the parchment. But if you want to add a little bit of color, you can add a little bit of color. And you can see I have a finished project here where I added just some green to the trees, added a little sticker, sliced in my edges, threw it on a piece of colored paper, and I have a finished project. And then I did this card here, a little landscape. And then Katie, you mentioned my little pineapple. So I decided to venture outside of the box, and I actually took a vellum sheet, and I took my tool, and I actually traced with my tool my die, or die/stencil.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and then I turned it into
my goodness.
a little bookmark.
That is awesome, and you can feel the raised there.
So you obviously
any die you have, you can do this with. So very cool.
Or stencil, yeah. But you want to make sure. I mean, obviously you have
stencil, yes.
Well,
I keep calling it a die.
It's fine. This is a metal stencil.
But you could do it with a die too, right?
Yeah. Anything that you can trace, or if you have really nice handwriting. I do not, but I will show you just for fun.
So this is awesome. Raquel has never seen this before.
Oh, so. Yay! Okay. So yeah, like I said, I don't have good handwriting, but you could also, if you do have good handwriting.
Carissa's here. She can do some of her lettering with this, right?
Yeah, my name is not pretty, but you can use your own, and it's backwards, sorry, but yeah, you can write. And that's actually, that is something you need to note, since you are working from behind, which is why the plate is actually flipped, is because everything, you're working from the back side to obviously push things up. So if you are doing any lettering, you want to make sure that you're doing it backwards. So I'll just do one of the letters just to kind of show you what it looks like. I'll just do this Q for Megan Quinones.
Well, that's great, and all you have to do is trace it, so you don't have to worry about doing it backwards.
No, and then you see the grid lines here. And if you are having trouble kind of seeing what you're doing or adding your white work, they also recommend using a dark piece of paper to put underneath it, so you can kind of see exactly what you're doing. So
does this kit come with all the instructions and everything that you need?
Yep. You have the kit, you have the instructions, and then I know Barbara has her blog, and she has a lot of really helpful tips and a lot of helpful information on the Groovi plate. So yeah, you can create your own sentiments with this. I just did hello, and then I just took, it kind of looks like a pineapple because obviously, I just took one of the characters over here, the little V, or the little lesson, whatever, greater than sign, and just added it to my paper, and then added some coloring behind it. So a couple different ways you can use it. Yeah, I think that's it. So
I think that's pretty cool.
So yeah, it's very different. It's different than your normal stamping or embossing techniques. It's using parchment and some pressure to create really pretty designs. And like I said, we have really cool designs on our website that have really intricate patterns and intricate designs. And imagine giving a card where you've done that. People are like, how did you do that? Because it has that really cool raised
it's
effect.
Definitely very different than anything else you see.
Yeah. And just think about the possibilities, that you can do with this. Just add a little extra pizzazz to some of your projects that I think, if you ask me, is pretty unexpected, because this isn't something that you see every day.
Yeah.
So.
And Lori B is actually here, and she loves her Groovi. She said that she actually does some light watercoloring on her finished sheets. So That's a really good idea,
I
too.
would love to try the watercolor. That's a great idea.
So
Yeah. Any other
she
questions?
took it on vacation with her too, so you can travel with this little kit.
Kind of like
so.
your coloring book. You pop it in your bag and you're on a plane ride, just do your Groovi tool.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Nancy says she needs one. Lots of people, this is the first time you've seen it, so I think the starter kit is a great place to start out. And then if there's any plates that you fall in love with, grab those too while they're on sale. If there's any questions that arise, just put them in the comments. We'll be watching out for them. We will answer them for sure. And of course, we'll link to everything.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah.
If there's anything, any products, techniques, anything you want to see us do live, let us know because we're all ears. We can make it happen.
And get your Groovi on.
You've been waiting all day.
I know, right? I'm like, when can I slip that in?
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon and happy
Bye.
crafting.